Alright, here we are with my Jund Zombies list. This is Adam from TheEndStep.com. So zombies was a thing for a while, but it's been a while, so I want to bring it back, mainly because of Mr. Varal's here. I like the interaction with him and the zombies because they die pretty often, and they have high power and toughness for their mana cost. Anytime these guys die, and the Drake Mangler, has scavenge. Paying 3 for that scavenge instead of 5 is drastically better. But really, this interaction here between Vexing Devil and Varal's is the reason I wanted to play this deck. So paying 1 early to have him, pay 4 life, and then he goes to the graveyard, and then I could pay a red to scavenge him on to any of my guys to make them, ridiculously huge. So a boost of 4 power for 1 red seems quite good. So I get to play, since I'm in green because of Rawls, I get to play Lawless Troll, which seems good interaction with some of the other guys, especially where I could swing in to pitch some guys, and then second main phase or beginning of next turn I could boost him up quite a bit. He's obviously one of the better ones to boost because he has trample. The other thing that the deck has is Rancor, which kind of gives the trample ability, so you don't really usually put it on your Lawless Troll. You usually want to throw it on one of your other guys that doesn't have trample, and then scavenge on, give him trample, and then he's a big beater that can't be blocked by small guys like Lingering Souls, or even the mid-range guys like Thragtusk, which generally trade nicely with these guys. But when I can slap a Rancor on my Gravecrawler, I'll gladly throw him into a Thragtusk all day long. Running 3 Tragic Slip, cheap removal, but also works well with Rawls because he has the sack ability, so I can turn on Morbid pretty easily. As an additional sack outlet, I have 2 Falcon Wrath Aristocrats as the top end. So it's pretty nice that you can deal with your opponent's Falcon Wrath Aristocrats with Tragic Slip, but also is just a straight up best removal spell for any other creature as long as you have a sack outlet. And then the hard removal is Putrefy and Dreadbore. It's pretty straightforward there. The mana base is pretty much all your duels, skewed very much to the black, but you'll notice the glaring exclusion of Droft's Messenger. That's because he's awful to cast, and because I wanted to be a little more diverse in my colors, because of needing red early, turn 1 or 2, and then needing green on turn 3. Droft's Messenger just wasn't going to happen, so that allows us to forget about him and then play some Stomping Grounds, which fixes that problem which black-green zombies had, where you'd want to always have your Rancor, but you only have so many green sources because of Messenger, where now we can have a nice smattering of green sources, so Rancor won't get stuck in your hand nearly as much. Only 1 Cavern basically is a concession to the fact that I want all these colors early, and my removal is very diverse as well in terms of colors, so Cavern is not the best in this deck, but it's still good enough that I think it's inclusion, because you're basically 2 main creature types. You're like zombies and trolls, and then you have devils and vampires, but they're only a small amount. So most time you're going to name zombie unless you have one of these guys, which you can't cast, and then you can name it for one of those so you can get it in there. And then 2 swamps to just up the turn 1 black sources. That's about it. So far I've been pretty happy with it. We'll see how it performs under the camera. Thank you. We'll be back with a sideboard. Alright, welcome back. Here's the sideboard for Jund Zombies. So basically we have anti-Reanimator, anti-Snapcaster plan, trying out 1 Crypt Incursion because it seems ridiculous in terms of just blowing your Reanimator opponent out when they have a bunch of guys in their graveyard. You can just Crypt Incursion them and take out everything all at once, and then you can basically finish the game from there, and you gain a ludicrous amount of life because it's 3 life for each creature. So if they have 5 guys, boom, 15 life. And then if they have to race you, you're way ahead in terms of that. And then we have some Duresses and some Appetite for Brains. Duresses more for the controlling decks, and then Appetite for Brains has a little bit of more versatility in terms of great in any of the mid-range matchups. Any deck with Thragtusks and Thundermaw Hellkites and any of the big stuff that's problematic. Great against Supreme Verdict. Uh, Additionally, Golgari Charm, mainly here for the regenerate ability, to basically live through a Supreme Verdict. Seems really good. Allows you to also trade with a guy and keep your guy. Also very good against Lingering Souls. If somebody's going to make a bunch of souls and try to hide behind it, you can Golgari Charm them. Most of the time it won't kill your guys. There's a few guys that do die to it, but usually most will live through it. And then you can blow them up from there. And then it has a sometimes cool ability of killing enchantments. Scourge Drag High Priest is pretty much against any green deck that has light removal. Because we do have 5 sack outlets, we can turn on his Morbid a decent amount of the time. But he's also really good because you can just throw in your Grave Crawlers every turn, and eventually they have to start blocking. And he's such a threat that it's like this catch-22 of I can't just die to Grave Crawlers, but I don't want to block and kill a Grave Crawler because then I'm going to have a 5/5 demon to deal with. So he's very good at any matchup where your opponent doesn't have a lot of removal. And then some Vampire Nighthawks for any deck that is either similar speed to your deck or a little bit faster. So it basically just breaks that parity having some lifelink. Also really nice with Brawls because you can scavenge onto him. Throw a Vexing Devil's Power on him, and he's an insane beater that you're going to gain a ton of life with. So seems pretty good there. That's about it. We'll see how the matches go.